next topic of wellness, and we touched on it a little bit previously, but just how to stay sane throughout this journey, because every level it gets a little crazier, and you need like new tools and new tools to help you get through. So how do you all foster wellness as lifelong learners?
Well, I think it's like wellness is a journey, right? It's like what
It definitely is a journey.
like what you need as a first year is very different. At least for me, now that I'm done with third year, like is very different than what you need and can afford. And I mean afford not even in the sense of like financial, the financial sense in third year. So like in first year, like I had a lot of time, and so like I just believed in like taking walks, right? Or like going to get a good dinner with my friends. And because me and my classmates like all had the same schedule, it was like easy for us to just say we're gonna go like watch a movie or just like play game, like have a game night. Like that was wellness for me because it was really easy for me, like I mentioned before, to just be in my room like studying. So like, and I'm an introvert, so it's like the combination of the two, like I could easily just be in my room all day. But I was like, this is not healthy, and I'm sad and I'm stressed, and so like being able to schedule a time and say, hey, on Friday night, like we're literally about to play Jenga and like just like eat chili, you know, or whatever, things that have happened, and like that would just like recharge me, right? And then like I also realized that like I needed at least a day or two off like in my week to just be able to be a fully functioning adult. And so like on Saturdays, public market, it was cheap. I got good things. I got to see people who were not in medicine, no offense to y'all, but just like people who are just like living their lives, right? And like talk about the best tomato to get, great. And then on Sundays, like I would carve out 2 hours and I would go to church. Like just, if I can go to church, I'm gonna go to church because it just helps, you know? Like it just helped ground me and keep me sane. And that's something I've been trying to just maintain like throughout my time. But then at the beginning of third year, I was like, no, I need a little bit more, but I need a little bit more reinforcement. And so I actually started therapy, and y'all, it's great because, and this I think like has really like encapsulated like my wellness journey, because like it's one thing to like see your friends and talk to them, right, and commiserate about like medical school and like how hard it is, but to talk to someone who literally has no skin in the game, like, and actually like wants to hear from you and then give you like tangible tools, I highly recommend. So that's how I've been able to like navigate my wellness journey in short.
And if you are comfortable, because mental health is a huge part of wellness, right? So you mentioned therapy. If anybody's comfortable, how many people have engaged in that?
I think therapy is like so important, especially like you don't realize it. In undergrad, I really was kind of like a Spartan with the way I like studied and just how I took care of myself. I really didn't think that therapy was useful, or just like all the terrible things that we think about mental health in this country. That's kind of how I felt. But then there was a turning point of my like senior year in college where I was just like, I don't feel well, and this needs to get fixed for myself and for my family, for my future patients. And so what I did is, as soon as I came here, I started doing therapy, and it's helped me tremendously. I think it's so important just to kind of like be able to have skills to process just the day-to-day struggles that happen when you're trying to be a physician. I think also making sure that you're not only mentally well, but physically well. I think, studying is a very sedentary lifestyle, and if you want to be a physician, I just think you should be healthy. You should be taking care of yourself and being physically fit, whatever that version is for you. I think that's very useful. And then also, there's a spiritual piece, and it doesn't have to be necessarily about religion, but just your spirit should be well, and that should be like how you're talking with patients, how you're talking with your friends. I think when you have your mental, spiritual, and physical health all taken care of, it just like works out for you.
And also how you talk to yourself. And you
Mhm.
didn't say that, huh?
Mhm. Oh yeah, you got to be kind to yourself. You have to.
I think to that point, like I made it a rule for myself and also the people around me. And if you've been around me, you've heard me say this, like no self-deprecating talk, right?
Mhm.
Like, cause we're quick to be like, oh, I'm stupid, I'm this. Like, no, you're not. If you were, you know, technically stupid, like you would not be in medical school because like that you don't work, right? You know,
The math ain't math.
the math is not mathing, right? And it's like, but you really have to be mindful of the things that you're saying to yourself
Yeah.
because this process wears on you, right? And we don't talk about it enough. It's like, it's so rewarding to help patients and to grow and to learn, but it's also so taxing. And so if you are like allowing negativity from yourself or other people to kind of go into that, your spirit, like therein lies, you know, the defeat of your spirit. So it's like really important.
I think another thing about wellness is that oftentimes, like we're so lucky that this is a word people use nowadays. You know, if I talk to this concept with my parents, who are very hard workers, you know, they grew up with the mentality that you just grind and you take care of your family and that's like your priority. Whereas now we like live in a culture where we can actually talk about therapy and we can talk about how we're going to care for ourselves, which ultimately benefits everybody, our families, our friends, our relationships, our patients. And so I think we're really lucky to be in a time like that. And then I think, like everyone was talking about that, thinking about your mental well-being, your physical well-being, your spiritual well-being is super important, whether that means doing things you love, like if you like dancing, making sure you're getting involved in a community. Like for me, I love salsa and bachata, and I'm very involved in the dancing community, and I look for it wherever I go. If I travel to Philly, I look for it. If I travel to Toronto, I'm looking for dancing. So kind of thinking about your passions and your hobbies and the things you like to incorporate in your day-to-day can really be super helpful for your wellness. And I think building a community is extremely important. I think that I couldn't have gotten through medical school without my friends, my family, the people in this hospital who care and support me through this journey. I think that we're not meant to be in isolation. We're not created to be an individual that just thrives on its own. We're meant to be around people, and we're meant to create those relationships and foster those human dynamics that help us every day. So I think that's been super important for me too.
I think one other thing too, this isn't necessarily about like strategies or anything, but just when you're choosing things to get involved with, like within your work life or your extracurriculars, just making sure that they're only things that fill your cup. I say that because, you know, like for example, I do a lot of work with a youth basketball program, and I find that so rewarding. I love every time I get to go work with the kids. And it doesn't necessarily feel taxing to me, so that's sort of a way that I'm able to recharge, but it's also a way that I can put something on my resume. So it's, you know, doing both wellness and an extracurricular.
And the most important thing, like recognizing when you're burnt out. I think we try very hard, and you'll literally like study and just be like, it feels like you're just bumping your head up against a wall. I think it's very important to like know yourself and know when you're burnt out and be graceful and say, okay, I need to take a step back. And it's totally fine. Because you, like most people are type A who embark on this journey, and you'll just like never give yourself grace. So really be graceful, recognize burnout. Burnout is a real thing. Everybody here has felt burnt out at some point on this journey, and that's completely fine. But it's most important to recognize that and then figure out how can I fix that so that I can keep going.